All right, just now turned 7 o'clock. Anyway, anybody that what the plan is here, I'm probably going to mute everybody because if we wander off the subject matter here a little bit, I want to maintain control. And this subject matter is easy to wander off and go on a tangent. And I want to stay on subject. Uh, Also, probably need to keep our cameras turned off, except for me and Sierra, because of bandwidth. If we have bandwidth, well, there's only us right now, so I don't think we'll worry about bandwidth. So, Sierra, what I'd like to start off with tonight is you telling us about your book and where we can find your book.
Okay, well, my book is The Haunting of Sierra Sky. It's been out in this cover since about 2015. And one of my team members helped me design it, Cindy Lepori. She did like all the grunt work, and then I got somebody else to do all of the right pronunciation and stuff like that. So it can be found actually on Amazon.com under The Haunting of Sierra Sky. It's on Barnes & Noble. Or I have, like, in my possession, probably about 20 copies that I can autograph and send them to whoever wants the book. So during my haunting, this was my promise to God, was that I would write a book to let everybody know that this stuff does happen in 2004. So
anyway, the next thing I'd like you to tell us a little bit about yourself, what your experience is, and where you started in the paranormal.
Well, I started in the paranormal in 2004, and I wasn't really into the paranormal time at all.
Go ahead and talk about the cemeteries that you went to and some of your paranormal experiences, and then we'll go into your haunting.
Okay. Well, I've been to cemeteries all over Texas, and I'm here in South Dakota now, and I've been to many here in South Dakota. And I've done the Baker Hotel that you know of.
Sure.
You know, the Baker Hotel was my baby. I've done a lot of spirit rescues out there. I've also, as you know, and as Dina knows, that I've done Hill House Manor several times in Gainesville, Texas.
Okay.
I also went to the Oklahoma bombing site, and I think that was when we met you guys at the Baker Hotel.
Yes.
And I picked up on
and the Hill House.
I picked up I picked up on some spirits at the Baker Hotel, and they followed me back. I brought them back, and that's when I brought them to the Baker, and we did that rescue of the spirits from the Oklahoma bombing. The sad thing about that was I couldn't find Bailey while I was there. The little girl that the firefighter brought out, I couldn't find her, but I had numerous kids that had come back with me.
Maybe she went on through.
Straight up, that's what I'm thinking too. I have done personal ghost hunts, you know, on locations. I have traveled to Alaska, to Pennsylvania, to New Hampshire. New Hampshire was basically, when I was in New Hampshire, I fled my haunting just to get away because I was being attacked. So I went there, and that's when different things were happening to me. Okay. You know, it was bad in New Hampshire too, but I was able to get away, and I don't want to touch on my haunting until we talk about it.
Well, we're getting
but that was that was like in the highlight of my haunting, and I did it to get away, just to get away from all the attacks and all the paranormal that was going on. Okay. But I also knew at the time that I had to return home that everything that was going on was still waiting for me when I got back.
Okay. Now, one of the things I'm curious about is, where do you think you picked up your demon? Where did you cross paths?
And this is hard to talk about because my husband at the time has now passed away. But I was working nights, and he was home at night. Mm-hmm. and he was doing cocaine and heroin and drinking and stuff like that. So when I left Thurber, I went home, you know, and that's when all these kids started showing up, like they had followed me home. So that's a tough subject to talk about. I'm willing to talk about it because it was like the major part of my haunting and the Ouija board.
Okay.
Looking for answers as to what happened to me.
Okay.
So, but I've gone all over and investigated, you know, out of state, in state, in Texas.
Okay. Okay. Now, describe or tell us about your haunting.
Okay, my haunting was in 2004. I wasn't a skeptic at the time because I know that in my lineage of my family that my family has had paranormal experiences. I'm a twin, and I'm a Gemini twin. And I remember growing up, you know, my brother would see spirits, and I would turn away. I'd be afraid, you know, because that was me. That was my fear.
Yeah.
And this is hard. Anyway, to make a long story short, I went to Thurber, Texas, and this is where we tap into my haunting. And I took a piece of a headstone. I didn't know. I took it because I was just in awe at all the unmarked graves and all the children that were in Thurber, Texas, because in the 1800s, it was a coal mine in town.
Yeah.
So a lot of the children back in the 1800s, you know, they died of diphtheria, whooping cough, all those kinds of illnesses that were back then, and medicine wasn't that good. So when I went to the cemetery, it was really weird because I was going to Cisco, Texas. And to get from Fort Worth to Cisco, Texas, you have to go to Thurber, Texas. So on the way back, we had to go like pick tomatoes to get it ready to sell because they were farmers. So when we get on the way back after that, we had to go back through Thurber, Texas. So when we went back through to go back to Fort Worth, I saw the sign again, and I just had this pulling, you know, just this pulling to go. At the time, I didn't know what the pulling was. It was just like this magnetic thing that just pulled me.
Understood.
So it took us about 30 minutes to find the cemetery. I mean, we didn't give up. We couldn't find it because it sits behind the smokestack in Thurber, Texas. And I think, have you been to Thurber?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you went to Thurber. So did Donna.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I got there, I was really upset. And Maria, I was led to this grave. I mean, this grave of a little girl caught my attention. Well, when I left, I took a piece of a headstone out of her grave. And I didn't do it. I didn't do it thinking anything would happen.
Yeah.
I did it because it just touched my heart, and the cemetery touched my heart, and these kids, and I just wanted a little piece, you know, to kind of commemorate my day of being there.
Yeah.
So I got home, and I was with some friends like 2 days later, and the little boy was looking behind my shoulder, and his mother goes to the little boy, "What are you looking at?" And he's like, "There's somebody behind Sierra," you know, as I go by Dakota. "There's somebody behind Dakota in that window."
Yeah.
And we were like, no. And my friend said, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "I went to Thurber and I took a piece of a headstone and I brought it home with me." And she's like, "You need to take that headstone back immediately." So it was about 2 days before I took it back. And I scattered, you know, balls and toys and jacks and stuff around for the children. And I apologized and I left. Mm-hmm. Well, when I got home, it was like a couple of days later when I got home, I was seeing, and I never seen before, I was seeing children in my living room. And I couldn't understand where these children were coming from.
Yeah.
But there was like 11 of them in my living room. And what I'm gathering now is that they followed me home.
Uh-huh.
So then I got the Ouija board because one little girl's name was Maria, and I wanted to talk to Maria.
Okay.
I didn't know at the time that you're supposed to shield yourself or, you know, put whatever comes out of the board. You know how the Ouija board works. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So the little girl was actually communicating, and my husband and me at the time, he went and he got some shots of Crown, and he brought the shots back. And we started doing shots of Crown while we're messing with this Ouija board. And it just opened it up. It opened like, I don't know what it opened up. It opened up for something really bad to come through the board. So it's still hard to talk about 20 years later. So anyway, it came through the board, and that's when things started happening.
Okay.
I was no longer talking to Maria. I was talking to somebody else, and I didn't know that at the time. So in my living room at the time, it was the Twin Towers in 9/11. You know, it was in 2001.
Yeah.
And I had a friend that worked for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, and he gave me all the plates of the paper, the printed metal plates of the paper that came out on that cover story. And I had them all on my walls in my apartment. I had art. I had everything. So when it changed from Maria, it changed to, his name was Ron. He was a firefighter in Tower number 2 of the Twin Towers. And naturally, I believed him. I didn't know at the time that all the stuff was around me and that it was all lies. So I spent a lot of time. I mean, I spent probably 2 months talking to him. And then in my apartment, there was this heaviness that you couldn't even cut with a knife. It was really bad. So in my bedroom, I was being attacked. I mean, I was being attacked. I mean, when I talk about this, I don't talk about being thrown up against the wall or anything like that. I was being sexually abused by something that I couldn't see and I had no control over. And I was screaming and screaming, and this went on for 4 months the first time. So anyway, when this was going on, you know, I got sent home for sleep deprivation. Thought maybe that's what it was. So I slept for 16 hours, and when I woke up, things were still going on. But I missed something when we talked about the children of Thurber. I was actually waking up with nests of tangles in my hair. Like something had been playing with my hair, and I just assumed at that time, you know, it's a little girl. It was the kids.
Okay.
When it wasn't. So it started out, you know, with the attacks and the incubus attacking me and me feeding into the fear and being scared. And to make a long story short, I closed off my bedroom. I wouldn't go in there anymore. So then I had the hallway and I had my office. And my office was like my safe haven to me, where my computer was.
Yeah.
And, you know, 2004 computers weren't that great back then anyway. Yeah. So, I sealed myself up in my office as time went by. I didn't go in my bedroom. When I took showers, it felt like somebody was washing my hair and scrubbing me. And so I sealed off my bedroom. I stayed only in my computer room. Okay. Well, in the highlight of my haunting, I ended up going to New Hampshire just to get away. And that's when I found out they called me a receiver, okay, which I was automatic right in. And at the time, I wasn't sure about the hearing stuff, yeah, but I was automatic writing and stuff like that. And And I found out that wasn't good either by doing automatic write-in, but spirit was just coming through so much to me.
Yeah.
Well, this spirit had tormented me for quite a while, so I decided that, well, first off, I'm going to tell you, on Cherry Lane, in my apartment where I lived, there was a Walmart across the street, and there was IHOP down the road. And from the hours of 11 to 6 a.m., I would either go to the IHOP and sit there, afraid to go home, or I would go to Walmart and buy candles and black candles and just all this kind of stuff. And then in the morning, I would go home. On top of this, I was working as well. I would go home. And that's when my boss sent me for sleep deprivation because I wasn't sleeping. And after all of that sleep, I woke up, I was still the same way.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the children in my living room anymore. They weren't there. It was just this incubus that was there. So when I decided to fight back, I went to a place in Fort Worth. It's called the Enchanted Forest. And I walked around that store. It's a metaphysical shop. And I walked around there for 3 hours, afraid to talk to anybody. I was shaking. Finally, I got my nerve up, and I went and I talked to the guy behind the counter, and he said, I can help you. And I just went, he gave me some sage. He talked to me about it. At the counter, he gave me like hematite. He gave me some crystals. He gave me, you know, stuff that would help in me battling this thing.
Yeah.
But when I got in there, there was these stones that were sitting in like on the counter in a little dish, and it kept getting my attention. So when I checked out, it got my attention again. I bought my stuff and I left. I went out to my truck, came back in, purchased the stone, and left again. Now I was going home. Now I felt like I could battle this. So I put my armor on, my suit of armor. I was ready. I run in my living room. I jump and go into my computer room. And I started putting on like Mercy Me and Christian music. And I really humbled myself. And I took these tea candles and I laid them all around in the center of my office. I don't know why. I just did.
Yeah.
And I jumped into the circle of candles. And I was out for quite a few hours. But when I woke up, the peace stone was in my hand, and this incubus face, you know, of the demon, if you've seen my stone, is sitting in the rock.
Oh, wow.
I was out for so long. Okay, and then I thought, okay, maybe I got it. You know, because I was out for a really long time. Maybe this is it. Maybe I was able to beat this thing.
Yeah.
So that's basically what happened. However, it came back.
Okay.
And it was the worst thing I ever went through. I mean, it was gone for a while, but it came back. You know, after a few months, it came.
Yeah.
And things were, you know, they were going on at work, and I worked as a house mom in Fort Worth, and upstairs was like, they had lockers and stuff like that. And while I would sew and stuff like that, you know, get them on stage, get them ready to do whatever they had to do. But I had like bobby pins that, you know, I'd help with the hair, or if they needed something, you know, I had it.
Right.
And I was noticing that the bobby pins were lining up. They could be like this, and they were lining, just like a line to me.
Oh, wow.
And the curling irons were shifting, and they were lining up to me. I was so scared, John, that I ran into my boss's office. I said, I cannot do this anymore. I quit my job, and I went home. So I was like, why is this happening? You know, if I got it, why is this happening? So it was like a residual. for a while.
Okay.
Then I went to Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, I was being attacked again.
Oh, wow.
And this went on for months again. So it was like the same thing, but I think it may not have been the same incubus at the time. It might have been another one that came through. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm a magnet for these things
Okay.
or what. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I moved to Pennsylvania, and that's when I started finding out, you know, that I could hear spirits and that I was automatic write-in and all this stuff. And I was really confused because all my gifts, when I woke up out of the circle, I woke up like this. You know.
How did you get out?
But I promised God, I told him, I said, if you get me out of my haunting, I will dedicate my life to helping those being haunted.
Yeah.
So when I came out the other end like this, I was like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I got the team together. Dina was part of my team. You know, I put together the best team that I could find to help me in battling, which we had many, many cases that we have helped people that went through the same thing. So I don't know if I had to experience all of this to be able to go with the signatures and to be able to help somebody else with it.
Oh.
You know, I talk a lot to Bill Bean, a lot. You know, I mean, we're really good friends, and it's just something. I don't know. It's just something that happened.
Okay.
And here I am now. So, you know, I put together the team. I brought up spirit rescuers with the help of the lion, and we decided that we were going to start getting my story out there, but also help people on, you know, through shows and stuff like that are going through some of the similar experiences that I went through.
Yeah.
So, but I got attacked by 2 more demons. After that, the worst, and Golden Phoenix can tell you about this, the worst was when I moved in with my mother in the town of White Settlement.
What's going on with Golden Phoenix? I tried to email him the other day. His email's down, his website's down, and I know he closed his Reiki training center that he had in that church. You know, have you talked to him?
I haven't talked to him.
Okay.
So, but if it wasn't for Golden Phoenix, I don't think that I would have survived what I went through the 3rd time around.
Okay. Well, for those that are listening, Golden Phoenix is a shaman Reiki master, and he taught you to be a shaman Reiki master, right? Okay.
Yes, I'm a master.
Okay.
I think that's why my hands power up so much, especially when I'm investigating and stuff like that. Even now they're powered up. I can feel them.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
I know I could feel mine power up just doing some of the Tai Chi exercises, you know, when you're doing Yeah, I can feel the power between my hands, yeah.
So that's basically my haunting, but it took me to Pennsylvania. It happened again, and then at my mother's, it happened again in White Settlement. And it didn't help that I worked in a haunted bar too, because we had to close some vortexes in there. Okay. So this is all stuff that I'm doing that, you know, I learned how to stitch up a vortex, how to spin it the other way. I learned how to do all that stuff through some of my team members.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. I don't know, have you ever heard of any cases where somebody became pregnant through this sexual assault?
No. Does that happen?
Well, it's rumored that the history of King Arthur and stuff, that Merlin was the product of one of those unions.
Really?
Yes.
He was a wizard, and it's funny you would say that because they always said whatever was in my stone was a wizard.
Yes. So he's
and I'm British.
The product of a woman being raped by incubus.
Oh my gosh, that kind of turned a light bulb on in my head.
Okay. Well, let me
That
ask.
makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Now then, when you were physically attacked, did you have any physical damage to your body from these assaults?
I had, like some bruising and stuff like that, like bruises like on my arms and stuff. It looked like prints and stuff like that, but I couldn't tell you if it was the children or
Okay.
if it was the incubus. I can't tell you the magnetic pulls that I felt when I would take a bath.
Mhm.
I would be pulled to the drain.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's from my belly button ring that helped magnetize me,
Mhm.
but yeah, I was literally, every time I take a bath, I could start at the end of the bathtub and be pulled.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. It's all in my book, but
Okay.
I only read like a little bit of my book today.
Well, what are some of the steps that you took to get rid of this thing? I know that you had recommended that this one person that I was dealing with on this one event be doing St. Michael's prayer and stuff. So is that part of the steps that somebody that's experiencing this should go through?
Yeah, the first thing I do usually if I have a haunting is immediately send out that Archangel Michael's prayer. It's from Amma Nazra. She was my mentor in the beginning during my after my haunting and getting me to where I am.
Yeah.
She is also a light worker and she does exactly what I do.
Okay.
She took me under her belt and kind of just trained me.
Have you talked to
But huh?
Have you talked to her lately?
No, I haven't. I
I
haven't really talked to. I think you're the first person.
you reconnected with? Okay. Well, I tried looking at the link that you sent. It's down. It doesn't go anywhere anymore. And I tried a couple searches on Google and stuff to find and locate her. And also on Golden Phoenix, I couldn't locate him either. And his email doesn't work anymore. His phone doesn't work, that the number I had and stuff. So, I had left I did find something on Golden Phoenix somewhere and I left a message, but I have not heard back from him. And I haven't talked to him. God, it's been about 8 or 9 years since I talked to him last.
It's been a few years. Like I said, I was out of this field for like 10 years.
Yeah.
I needed to recharge my batteries, so to speak.
You need
But
to
now I'm being pulled.
Go
I'm
ahead.
being pulled back into it. But I still have this question that I mentioned that keeps me from diving back into it is because I'm 61 and Dina can probably help me with this. I made a promise to God that I would dedicate my life to helping those haunted.
You better
And
get
now
on
that I get closer to God,
Yeah.
I'm questioning, am I on the right path? I'm so confused,
Well, I'm sure he's going to answer it for you. And I know I have a deal with God also, and it's a long story, but I have never reneged on it, and I gave up something because He helped me. So, and I've never gone back to that at all. But if I had made Him a
so
promise that I would help other people, I think I'd stay with it for sure.
I did the same thing. I made that promise. If you
Yeah.
got me out of my haunting, I would dedicate my life.
Yeah.
But as I get older, in my 60s, I
I'm 77,
question,
Sierra.
well, if you're still doing it, I guess I should get the ball rolling again.
I'll be
And
78.
it might be,
I'll be 78 in October.
you don't look a day over 50
Don't look it.
at all. Not over 50. So, well, that kind of helps answer my question.
Okay.
And
I think as long
I think-
as you're able to, you ought to get out there and get after it.
So I should go back like with a bang.
I would think so.
Okay, good, because that's what I've been wanting to do. but I've been scared to take that step. And this is
Don't be
part
scared.
of that
You
first
got your
step, is
website back
doing the
up,
radio.
so you got your website back up. I don't know who else
So,
wants the website, but you probably ought to start emailing them and getting them to come back and start posting some stuff on there.
well, I haven't let anybody know, in which Dina Spirit Rescuers is back up. I had this ink. It was sitting there for however long. I brought it up like two months ago. I haven't let anybody know that it's up. But Dina, if you're still in there, it's up. You can go in there. And I guess I should maybe start posting about SR. There was a lot of bad stuff that went on inside my networking site, attacks and stuff like that. So I took it off the line for 10 years. And I Reiki'd it, and I removed anything that I felt was negative in there to bring it back up in the light. So that's what I've been doing. And it's up. It's just...
Okay.
I haven't been super active because I've been working on my dad. So...
Okay.
But it's up. It's running. You can get in there.
I got in there. I sent you messages that way.
Oh, you did? You sent me an email.
Yeah. So I was
that's
surprised
right.
when I saw it. It seemed like I had tried to get into it one time and I couldn't find it. And then the other day when we started getting all these demon calls, I thought, well, I need to get hold of Sierra and see, get your contact info and stuff. And I went to that site and I had tried your phone. Your phone didn't work. The guy answered it, so that number wasn't good anymore. And I had tried a couple of your emails, your Dakota 742 or whatever it was, and that
1962.
Yeah, so none of that was working. So when I tried the website, it was back up. So I sent you email through that.
Yeah, and that's funny because yesterday I was on trying to get into my Yahoo Mail, the T Dakota 1962, and I completely locked myself out of it. I can't get into it.
Oh dear. Okay.
I have to call Yahoo. And yeah, and that happened yesterday.
Oh wow. Okay.
While I was going to look for some information.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, that's not good.
Okay.
On the plus side of that, being the creator of Spirit Rescuers, I haven't been able to log into Sierra Sky, the creator account, for 10 years. But as of yesterday, I got with Ning, and they helped me go back into the creator Sierra Sky page.
Okay.
So it was just crazy. I lose one thing and then I gain another. So
okay. Cool.
Now I can actually, do the dashboard and stuff like that.
Okay.
Through my site. So I was like, hallelujah.
Okay.
So anyway, that's back up and running.
Okay. And your site,
and I'm fixing,
what's the name of your site?
Spirit Rescuers, the official site of Spirit Rescuers on ning.com.
Okay. That way
if you go to my Spirit Rescuers fan page on Facebook, there's a link that will take you straight to the site on that page.
What page is that?
On my Spirit Rescuers Facebook page.
Okay. Okay.
I have one. There's the link on there that takes you right to it, or I can post a link after the show. Well, I wasn't ready to bring it up, but we could.
They can go through your Facebook page. That'll be fine. They ought to be able to find.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, when you were going through this, did you ever wind up going to the hospital because you were hurt or anything?
I should have. I really should have, but I never went.
Okay.
The thing that bothered me the most about that was the electromagnetics that was in that apartment. They had to rig up my entire kitchen.
Oh, wow.
There was damage in there. And you know what's funny is, I wanted to comment on this. I don't know if Dina was in the chat room at the time, but me and some other people went into that apartment, because after I wrote my book, I went back and I talked to my neighbor, and she said that they have rented the apartment out, but nobody stays over 6 months, and they always flee the apartment. So it was Diana. It might have been Dina too. I think it was Emma. We were in the chat room on Spirit Rescuers, and we actually astral traveled into that apartment. And it was Diana. It was Diana that said, do you remember this when we did this, Moon? It was Diana that, when I was in there, she said, Sierra, grab the sword. And at the time that I grabbed the sword and I plunged it, do you remember that? I had gotten the demon inside that apartment, and I had never astral traveled into anybody's place before. But I don't know if it was the team, it was you guys, I don't know what happened, but I was able to go in there and defeat it. What I don't understand is, why did I get attacked 2 other times? By what? Were there more than one Incubus that was attacking me during my haunting?
Well,
I'm
confused in the timeline here. When you fought with a sword, you were attacked after that event? Is that what you're saying?
No, it had to be after Spirit Rescuers. So it was after I was attacked in New Hampshire.
Okay.
After I was attacked at my mother's. This was all taking place after. I want to say it was in like 2011. My haunting was in 2004.
Okay.
We were just all in the chat room on Spirit Rescuers, and we all came together and we said, now is the time to do this. Now it's the time to go back in and defeat it.
Okay.
And that's what we did.
Okay, and you've never had an incident since?
No, but I keep my eyes open. I think it's just spirits around me. I haven't ever gone through anything like that again.
Okay.
Because I know how to protect myself. I know how to shield. I know how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And I have Archangel Michael right here with me at all times.
Okay.
So, I don't want to say I've been attacked anymore, because I don't think that I have.
Okay.
I think if I feel anything that I feel is negative, then I automatically put my hand up and stop it.
Yeah, get rid of it. Okay.
Because I don't want to go into that haunting again.
Yeah.
You know, and now I'm ready to talk about my haunting. As you can see, I'm ready to take it a step further. You know, like this Eli Roth, people are telling their stories. And I think I talked to you about that. I'm having this pull where it's time to take it to the next level.
Okay.
Tell my story. Get it out there.
Okay.
Because every Incubus haunting or every haunting is different. And mine was like super traumatic. And well, you guys know my story.
Yeah.
And what I went through to get to where I am today. It's just time. I promised I would get my story out there, and I did in the book, but I think I need to go bigger.
Okay.
Especially, you know, with me getting older, and I want to reach like as many people as I can.
Yeah.
To make sure this doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Well, you know, the same thing. They have a succubus that attacks men. So, you know.
Yes.
So, I mean, it doesn't matter whether if you're male or female, there's a demon out there that can get you.
You know, and it worries me about kids nowadays, you know, messing with the boards and, you know, teenagers and doing what they're doing. And, you know, how can I help stop that? Because they're opening themselves up to something they don't want to happen. And I see on TV and everywhere where people are just playing with it like a toy.
Yeah.
And because I went through what I did, you know, I want to try to stop that and say, hey, and the only thing I can do that is to put my scary haunting out there on one of the networks to where it reaches everybody, because mine was super, super bad.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think it's just time for my story to be told.
Okay. Well, we're going to post this on YouTube, so you know there will be at least, I know, 50 people see it, and hopefully at some point our little channel on YouTube is going to go viral, and we'll have a lot of people start to hit it. What we've been doing on our little channel is going ahead and putting out how to do ghost hunting, the tools that we use ghost hunting, and the procedures we follow and stuff. And right now on several sites, I'm just posting a paranormal word of the day, because I've got 25 pages of terminology that we use, and who wants to sit down and go through 25 pages of, you know, vocabulary? But everybody needs to talk the same language, so when we talk about something, we're all talking about the same thing. So I'm doing one word a day. I figured I can get their attention long enough to do one word a day. Now, some of our videos are up to an hour long, but I'm trying to cut them back to a half hour right now. So anyway, hopefully we'll get more people participating, more people watching. And I'm sure that a number of people will benefit from your story. And I want to thank you. So thank you for sharing with us.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, it needs to get out there. And I'm probably one, you know, from 20 years ago, before when internet was getting started and stuff like this, that just get my story out there so it doesn't happen to somebody else.
Well, do you feel like,
you know, get back?
One other question that just popped in my head is, do you feel like this is interdimensional in any way?
I never thought about it. I never thought about it like that. It could be.
It just popped in my head all of a sudden, and I'm wondering, you know, if I'm getting an outside urge to bring that up, because I'm learning that a lot of this stuff now, some people are starting to be talking more and more about it being interdimensional.
Ooh, that's a scary thought. I just always just assumed that it came out of my Ouija board.
Well, it may have.
Know?
Well, your Ouija board may have been the portal.
But is your Ouija board a portal?
Yes, ma'am.
So, interdimensional. That's part of a matrix.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
As if the
That's
Ouija
some
board
scary stuff to think about.
Yeah.
Well, it can be scary, yeah. But the thing about it is, you know, another thing that you have to think about is Parker Brothers have been making Ouija boards for a long time. And a lot of people play with them. A lot of people use them. And I'm not hearing that, you know, not everybody has this type of activity. So I don't know, you know, they've made millions of them. So how much activity, how do we record and find out whether if we're having activity from all these boards, or whether if it's a rare case, or if there's something else that might help trigger something like this to happen?
You know what else? You don't have to make a board. I mean, you don't have to have a board.
No,
you can make a board.
Paper. Absolutely.
Yeah, very easily, and the same thing would happen doing that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have, I talk to my angels and guides a lot. You know, I hear, but I also validate by writing.
Yeah.
And I question sometimes, you know, should I be doing this? But I can feel the energy now, because I went through all the energy signatures during my haunting. So if I know if it's heavy, it might be an agitated spirit. It might be something like that. But if it's super heavy, then you know that you've got something else going on in your house.
Well, with Golden Phoenix, available anymore, or not as active as he once was for sure, maybe you need to be spending more time being a Reiki master and teaching other people.
Yeah.
There's a void there now, because where are all these people? This other lady that you mentioned, Alma, I don't know where she is. I can't find her or locate her. Can't find any trace of her. So, I mean, these people are disappearing, and some of this experience we're losing, and some of the training we're losing. And we need to keep educating our paranormal people so we're not starting over and over again, that we're advancing.
Yeah. Well, there we go. I brought up spirit rescuers. Anybody can join. I can actually approve them into the site now.
All right.
Yeah, and this just happened yesterday.
Okay.
After 10 years, it happened. So.
Okay, cool.
There's definitely a lot of information in there.
There is. There certainly is. Yep. And I may start adding some of my stuff in there too, to just put it in there, so that it's saved somewhere, if you don't mind.
Yep. Not at all. You have a page, Dina. You have a page.
Yep.
I got rid of all the trouble that was in there.
Okay.
It's kind of humble in there, especially like you've been in there. It's quiet. It's no drama. It's a lot lighter of a site now.
Yeah. Well, every time I've been in,
so
the only one shown on the chart is being, on the site. So.
Because I haven't told anybody that I have it up.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the thing here. Let me turn the recorder off.